What's the problem, Fred? You don't, you ain't comfortable.
I think I'm comfortable.
Does it feel like it's?
There you go. There you go.
You feel like it's gonna break?
No, I don't feel like it's gonna break. Just have to get the booty right.
Because every time you shift and move, it feels like.
You feel it?
Oh no, Negro, I feel that thing.
You feel that thing?
No, seriously, just don't move.
Okay.
The only thing we need to do is fall in the middle of people watching us. We just gonna laugh anyway, but still.
They just say they are realists because they fail.
And laughed it off.
They laughed it off with everybody watch it.
Good morning. That's that oneness for you. I am so honored to see another year. Happy New Year's.
Man.
I said put the S. Happy New Year.
You said, but
there's no S on New Year's.
No S.
Happy New Year.
Year.
It's 1 year. Happy New Year to each and every one of you.
Happy New Year.
Bettina Ratliff is on here. Thank you so much. We want to say very openly, Vonda McInnes is on here. We want to say openly, happy birthday, Toinette.
Happy birthday,
That's right,
Toinette.
Toinette Long. It's her birthday today. She is just such an intricate part of the ministry. And so we want to say, Toinette, on behalf of Unity Charlotte International and the Gooden household and the entire world, happy birthday to you.
Birthday.
And we are honored for all that you do for the ministry.
She's working right now, too, ain't
On her birthday. And so we're honored. We
In
want
the
to say,
church, working
yep,
right
that's
now.
right. So thank God for you. So I woke up this morning and I was writing in my book. There is a book coming. And I want you guys to prepare that this book is going to help you singles and married. It's going to help people. The book is entitled A Needle in a Haystack. And so get ready because it will be dropping this year. But as I begin to write, words begin to pour out of me. And so I am honored to put them on the pages of a book for you. But my phone began to ring, and my phone began to ring with many circumstances and situations. Laura Renee, we are proud of you, Laura Renee. Laura Renee has a boutique that's getting ready to open up January the 8th. And so I want these people who are watching, click, tagging, and share, get it. Go get it all. Open your business, get your brand. Let's do it. And so my phone began to ring, and I began to speak to a beautiful young lady. Happy birthday, Timberland. Is Timberland's birthday too? Oh my goodness, my gracious. So as I begin to converse with this beautiful young lady, I begin to speak to her about being superwoman. And so, since whether you like it or not, Timberland's birthday today. Oh, happy birthday, Timberland. Happy birthday, Timberland.
Happy birthday, Timberland.
Michelle, get Timberland too. Michelle, get Timberland too. You know what I'm talking about. And so, what I begin to speak to her about was taking off her cape. And so I'm going to say this because most women who are going up and down the timeline, happy birthday, Timberland, as well. You have to understand that you don't get brownie points for being strong all the time. I have my husband here, and so what he's going to do, he's going to speak from his perspective as well. But I want to speak to you about being Wonder Woman, Superwoman, Superman, putting super in front of your name, where humanity is supposed to be at times. I am going to say this openly. You don't get brownie points for being super all the time. You have to learn to take off your cape. Now, who am I to say that? Who am I to say, take off your cape? I am saying as a wife first, a mother second, a pastor third, but above all, a woman of God that overrides it all. I had to learn to divvy up my time so that I can free up my mind to sustain all that I had to do. It is very difficult sometimes where you always have to be superwoman and you always have to wear a cape. Someone said, I am a fan. Talia said it in New Jersey. I'm a fan for always wearing a cape. Having a cape on 24 hours a day is exhausting. Having a cape on 365 days of the year with no breaks
That'll kill you.
is dangerous.
That'll kill you.
I want you to understand that you can't fly when your cape is too heavy to carry. You can't, ladies. I'm going to say that again. It is impossible to fly when your cape is too heavy for you to carry. What do I do? Someone just went up the timeline and said sometimes you feel like you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere. Mm-hmm. We all feel like that you don't have a choice. I think someone said, Alicia Keys, I am Superwoman. Mm-hmm. It's a new year. It is time for us to take off our cape sometimes. Sometimes our cape is heavy. Is because we put too much weight on it unnecessarily. Which means if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it.
And one thing about that, baby, is especially as we began, as God was building us together and seeing that trust. There's one thing I saw about my wife. Mm-hmm. She felt like anything that was put in her purview, even in her peripheral, she felt like she had a responsibility to carry it. She felt like she had a responsibility to do it. She felt like she had a responsibility to make certain things happen. Mm-hmm. And that's when I had to have the conversation, because she would literally, she would crash.
Yeah.
We
first
crash. Came together, she just crashed. She just and crash. And sometimes you got to have somebody around you that cares enough not to let you keep the cape on. Even when you look at it just from the perspective of us that's coming up, and we was looking at DC, Marvel Heroes, when we was coming up, cartoons and those things, you never saw one of those characters that stayed in the costume all the time. Mm-hmm. At some point, you got to come out and you have to come out and be who you are without the cape.
I think as a single women going up the timeline, see, it's okay for my husband to say, but wait a minute. He's the first husband that I've had that took it off. Mm. You have some husbands that don't mind you wearing it because they don't got to work. You have some husbands that don't mind wearing it because they don't have to do anything. They throw everything on your cape. I even know this one woman who was exhausted. She was married to a man that had children, and his ex-wife was across town, and she had no children. She was taking care of his kids. He was gone on the weekend. They were not her biological children, but she put herself in a position as a wife to take these children on and never get a break. Where the mother was across town and she was okay with it because she didn't have to deal with it.
She didn't have to do it no more.
There is something that most single women have to understand. That if you're in a position and you're a single mother, you still have to decape yourself. Because if you don't, your children don't know that you need a break because you always putting an S in front of their face. Mm-hmm. I had to learn that. The hardest way to fly is with grown children on your back.
Yeah.
That's the hardest way to fly.
When you have you while they flying.
Right. You can't fly. That means it's like mom, 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 mom. Sometimes you have to allow them space, and you've got to say, I can't do this right now. Someone said, okay, I had to fire. Okay, she crying. Oh, Lord, they crying. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use me as an example. We have grown children. And sometimes some grown children are not mature enough, but they are maturing. You don't take your cape off from being a mother, but you do take it off so you can rest to be a good mother. Mm-hmm. Which means, okay, Lord, they are crying up in here, Fred. Yeah. Sometimes you have to get an understanding that, listen to me, over 18, listen to me, 16, you can go fix you a sandwich. Watch this. You got to divvy up your responsibility as a superwoman, which means I'm not cooking every day. There's lunch meat in the refrigerator, stuff that you can microwave. Because what I'm not going to do, I'm not sitting in front of a stove. My daughter's home from college. She loves home cooked food. She better cook it herself or she got to wait. You've got to divvy up your time so you can understand the responsibility, because kids will wear you out. And not my husband, some of your husbands. I am going to say for my husband to address this. What happens if your husband wants you to be superwoman? He's not cooking, he's not cleaning, he's not doing anything. He's saying, you go ahead and take that weight. Go ahead. Because I know for me, I was in a situation where he ain't work. I took care of him and all the kids. That's my truth. What do you do when you have people who going up the timeline and they're saying their husbands or spouses says, go ahead and take the weight. I ain't got to do nothing. So now you feel like you don't have a choice. If I don't work, the bills don't get paid. If I don't pay the bills, even you have some women that make the money and they won't even get on the computer and pay the bills. You got some women who are women and go food shopping, but they won't even come downstairs to take the daggone groceries out of the car. They won't they won't, wait a minute. Okay, oh Lord, this is deep. They won't even take the groceries out of the car, let alone the trash can to the corner. So what we do in my house to keep me from blacking out, Fred has that responsibility. But when I was single, I would make sure that responsibility is made, because I'll leave that trash right there.
Well, but this is the thing. That's one of the responsibilities that she had to give me.
Okay.
See, the thing about it is and I've seen it just a couple of days, I just witnessed it, that some men just don't have an innate ability coming from the inside to be able to respond to what's needed. I mean, I think some of it may be selfish nature. Some of it may be they was mama's boys. Mama did everything. There's so many variations of reasons that could be for that man acting like that. What I would tell you to do is stop doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to let something go lacking. You got to let it go all the way to what it is, because you're taking your cape off. And then when the question is asked, you answer the question. Because if you want to change somebody's habit, you got to get out of the way. You can't change their habit or want their habit to change, but keep putting your hand in it.
Okay. I'm going to say something about that. Pure punishment. Pure punishment. I think sometimes when you have a husband that looks and see his wife doing everything, he does it as a way to get back at her. Some of them do.
That's ugly.
And it's ugly. It's pure punishment. Like, I'm going to punish you. Or maybe some husbands and wives got an act of jealousy in the house. Immature. So it's pure punishment. Let them do everything. And I think it's harsh when a man or a woman, you don't understand the joint effort it takes to build something. You put the burden on one person because of your insecurities, your immaturity, or even you're trying to punish each other and say, I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Pure punishment.
Yeah.
I'm going to say for single women right now, thank you so much. I think for single women, they do it all because if they don't do it, it doesn't get done. So they feel instead of fighting with the kids, I'm just going to clean up. Instead of fighting about taking the trash, I'll take out the trash. Myself. You become an enabler.
Yeah.
So what I do around here, I blacks out. That's how I take my cape off. I blacks out. There's some things that I wish could be better, and we're working on that. But if you choose to live that way, you choose to live that way. But it's only a matter of time where you can't live that way in this house.
Yeah.
You have to understand that it takes a joint effort as a family to make things run so that mommy can get a break. Now, I'm going to go way, way, way back in the time. I remember when the children were very, very small. And I went on strike. I did. I took a crayon and I wrote on the door with a piece of paper, Mommy is on strike between this hour and this hour. Don't ask me nothing. I stuck it on the door and they were good. I think sometimes you've got to take a strike break
Draw a line.
to take off the cape. That means between this time, don't knock on my door. In fact, lock it. I'm going to say, even for some of you who have small children, I want you to make something, cook it, make some finger foods, put on a good movie. If there's an older child, it's not the oldest sibling's responsibility to take care of the children that you had with somebody else. You didn't like what I said, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's not the older children's responsibility to take care of kids that you had with somebody else. They didn't have them. So I think that you should get a break, but don't give that responsibility fully on the oldest. Sometime give it to them maybe in an hour or two. Now, I'm going back to my point. Make finger food, snacks, put it around. Put it in the room, lock them in it, make sure they're safe. And even if you take 20 minutes to a half an hour to just do that. Someone said, I do that now. Do that. Because most women, you got to do something different this year that you didn't do last year, or you're going to snap.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no. And it's okay that they have an attitude that you did say no. Because if you don't get a break, you're going to break somebody's neck. Some queen said, my kids are always knocking on the door. Turn on some headphones. If they're not in trouble, put them headphones on. Put them on. Get you a good pair of Beats or whatever and turn up your nice music and you take your break. Because too many women are having nervous breakdowns because they're wearing a cape and they're tired of flying.
Yeah, not just family, but friends also.
Yeah.
And it's one thing we was talking about, been talking about the last couple of days, is dealing with your circumference or dealing with your circle.
Yeah.
You know, dealing with the circle of people that you are dealing with, the people that you let in your circle. You know, you gotta now look at who is bringing something. Like who is. If in your circle you got so many people that are taking.
Well,
Amen.
they always say
A hurt dog will holler.
a hurt dog will holler every time. Somewhere within the confines of our clip, somebody got mad at what we said. I think it must have been Veronica Best. Hey, y'all. Somebody got mad at what we said.
Ain't no telling, baby.
Huh?
Ain't no
Somebody got mad because they probably said, look, I like my wife being a slave. I said it and I said it. There's somebody that's got mad and said, I like my wife being a slave. Don't you dare call. You following that crazy lady in the car and her husband trying to get you out. No, we're trying to say that your wife is tired. And maybe some of you husbands too.
Yeah, I'm finna say that. Maybe
Yeah,
some of your
maybe
husbands.
somebody is tired of wearing a cape and they
We want you healthy and happy.
we want you happy, healthy, and strong.
Both of you. We
So
want you healthy
so
and
back to what my husband was saying.
Yeah.
He was saying about the husbands.
We have to control. We have to look at now what our circle is.
Right.
Who's in our circumference? Who is bringing something? Who? Of course, we serve one another, right? But we have to make sure that you're not giving out. Because if you're giving out all of your energy, and you doing all the one that's giving it, and ain't nothing coming back, that's a person that you may need to evaluate. That I might need to let them loose.
Someone said we always making folks mad. If you are not making
Truth does
people
that.
mad, then you're not telling the truth.
Truth does that.
I think women are tired and men are tired. I'm saying specifically women because I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
They're tired of wearing the cape. This is a new year, 2021, and they want to take it off. If she does not have a break, if she does not have a moment where she can breathe, if she doesn't have a moment where she can go to the hair salon without being called 50,000 times a day, if she can't just say, I need 1 hour to just breathe, it is not going to be good for the family. Yeah. It's not going to be good for the children. I think sometimes the truth of the matter is they take us for granted.
If you don't break, you will break.
Yeah. If you don't break, you will break. People have taken the kindness and the strength of women for granted. Not my husband, but I hear the women all over the world and they say, hey, Sister Payne, they're tired. I feel like I'm losing my mind. It's mom, 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 mom. And honestly, and this is no slight to all of the men. It's no slight to all of the men. But I even hear women that the men becomes MIA, just missing in action because he knows, oh, they mama got it. It's not fair. And even just because you're a grown woman, you never negate your responsibilities to be a mother of all ages. I think that both individuals who made the child should have a responsibility. Even if you can't do everything, do something, especially if the mother has the child.
Right.
A little bit can help a lot. Even if you said, if you're a divorcee, if you're going, someone said, please keep my family in prayer. Yep, I sure will. Even if you're a divorcee and you guys are no longer together and she's a single mother, give her a break and come get the children for an hour. You can't come get your kids for an hour, but you could go hang out on a block for 4 hours. You can't give your kids you can't give them an hour. But a lot of people won't give that mother an hour because she gonna go find another man. Or they won't give that hour because it means that you won't take the time that you have for your children. You'll do something that's gonna bring you pleasure, whatever it may be.
You worry about what she gonna do with the hour.
Right, right. But I think it's a very selfish person that sees the mother or the father or whoever is overwhelmed, and you do absolutely nothing. Now, I'm going to say this. I think it does take a village, depending on your circumstance. If you're a single mother and you have more than 1 or 2 children, or whatever it is, if that person that you had the babies with is MIA and nowhere to be found, I think that you should find a godparent, a sibling, an uncle, someone that you trust to give you a break. You gotta get you have to give them a break. I believe, and this is just me, that you have to care enough to care that that person is overwhelmed. We got to do something different in 2021 because most of us are bearing the blunt of 2020.
Yeah.
People that lost their job.
Yeah.
People that don't have cars. People that don't have an income. I'm not saying you take the full responsibility, but a little bit of break is necessary so she could take off her cape. Women are tired of flying. And they are not selfish. Not all of them are selfish. Okay, here's an assignment. Think about who's in your circumference. Who can you give your children to for 1 hour? Just 1 hour. Grown people. What can I do about a grown person that's overwhelmed? You can give them the tools that they need to succeed. I'm not saying push them on somebody else. I know someone right now just pushing a child on anybody because I don't want to raise them. Just anybody take them. That could be detrimental. Find out what the problem is and see how can I assist in that area. Someone said, who's coming to get my kids today? I'll come get Madison, Tamika. So what I'm saying is, even your grown children, sometimes what you have to do is you have to say, financially, I can't help you because you not having the finances, and I know that you could have it, is becoming a burden to me. Give them what they need to succeed. They tell you if you give a man a fish for a day, he'll eat. But if you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Sometimes you have to teach them, oh Lord, to fish for a lifetime. A woman just went on the timeline. She said, my hands are broke, my arms are broke. I can't fly no more. I'm tired. When you get to that point where you're like, I'm done, I'm tired.
You ready for change then?
Yeah, you ready for change. Or you don't care.
Yeah.
So if you get to that point, you're ready for change. But even if you get to that point, you're simply saying, I give up. Let them do what they want. Let them run my house. Let them run amok. I don't care if they shave the dog. I don't care what they do. Let them burn the house down. I'm tired. That's dangerous.
Yeah. Just as a man, and some husbands you just need to have that conversation with because time elapsed and nothing's been said. And I know my wife is definitely referring to single, but I will say this because men we become a creature of habits. We do. You know, I notice just as a man, when I look at other men and see other stuff going on, that we do a lot of the same things the same way. So we become creatures of habits, and sometimes it just takes a conversation. For the ones that it ain't conversation, it takes more than conversations. You're going to have to stand up, and you're going to have to break some habits. You're going to have to do some different things to make that happen. But the bottom line is you can't do nothing for nobody if you have a nervous breakdown.
A woman just went up the timeline and she said she's running away today. My mother used to say that. She's like, I'm running away, I'm running away. And sometimes you do have to run away to the hair salon, run away to the mall, run away to the park.
Get that time by yourself.
Right, but come back. Another young lady went up the timeline. She said, I don't have children. She said, but I'm tired of being superwoman to everybody else. I want to say this to you who do not have children and you're tired. You have to ask yourself, why are you tired? She admitted, I'm tired because I'm doing everything for everybody else and no one does anything for me. Because you don't have children.
Right.
Because you're single. You've got to even divvy up your time to give to someone else.
Right.
Why you are single.
Right.
Just because I'm single
Don't
doesn't mean that I am your babysitter
Come on now,
automatically.
don't mean you get all my
Just
time.
because I'm single and I don't have a husband doesn't mean that my time is for you because you losing your mind. Divvy up your time.
Yeah.
Time is the only thing that you are allowed to give
Yes.
someone else. I
Yes.
say it all the time. Time is the only thing that you are allowed to give someone else. Divvy up your time. So maybe if you're a good sister, good brother, good sibling, I give you an hour, but you better come back. Now, if you're going to bring your kids to some single person's house, don't take them for granted. And if they say come back in an hour, don't come back at 3 because you lost the opportunity to have a break by taking their time for granted. In fact, you need to let them sign a contract. You know Billy Bob done shaved the cat. You know that this child don't like to listen. All right, I'm going to give you a break. I will watch your child. We're talking to single people that don't have no kids, no husband. I will give you 1 hour. This is what you got to do. You leaving at 8 o'clock. I need you back by 9, latest 9:30. If you don't oblige to my rules on this contract, sign it. Send a text. It's a legal bonded document. What you got to do is you can't ask me again. You got to get people in the habit of respecting your time and your space. Whether you are married, single, whatever it is, let people respect your time so that everybody will be okay.
But it's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to make people respectful of your time.
Right.
Some people have a problem. They don't want to be. You don't want to challenge anybody.
Right.
You don't want any. You don't want any rifts. You don't want any problems. But this is New Year. You can't come into this new year doing the same thing you did last year or allowed to happen last year and want things to get better.
Okay, I gotta address this, and then we're gonna go. Sister Payne just went up the timeline. She says, I'm a grandmother of 9 and I'm tired. On behalf of all the grandmothers in the world, it is not their responsibility to raise your children unless it's something detrimental. Just because they're grandparents, you don't take them. I really think that the bottom line is stop taking people for granted.
Yeah, we see.
Just because you have a grandchild, it's not your responsibility to mother that child. Now, Nana, hold on. Listen, I understand what was taught in the old school days, but the grandparent has a choice.
Yeah.
They choose whether they want to watch your child or not. Don't just throw them on in because you are the grandparent. They have to make that choice. People have choices. People have choices. And you have to choose. Even if grandma says, I watched him for an hour, you can't take her for granted or grandpa for granted because they're choosing. That's a choice now.
Right.
All right. We're going to get ready to go. I think people have to take off their cape.
Take your cape off.
But in order to get it off, you got to take it off.
Yeah.
That means you got to take it and say, not today.
Call somebody else.
Yeah.
There's some other superheroes available.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that you have to understand that a lot of people are overwhelmed, especially in this season. But in this new year, we've got to do something different. You keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's insanity. And so before someone goes insane, take the cape off. That means it's okay to say no. I told someone this morning, it's beautiful young lady. There are different ways to say no. No, no, I can't do that right now. I'm sorry, I have something to do. I have my own issues right now. I won't be able to follow through right now. I have to handle my own bills. Right now, I'm sorry, it's not a good time. Did you know that those are different ways to say no? Right now, I won't be available. I have something to do. Those are different ways to say no instead of just saying no or hell no. Or what you keep asking me to do that for? It's simple. It's a way to convey what you have to say. I won't be able to do that right now. Sometimes if you know that a person is repetitive and they call you with the same old thing, let it go in the voicemail. Eventually, people that use you will go into another pond. But what I'm saying is you will drive yourself crazy if you don't take off your cape. Do it. 2021, it's a new year, new you. But the only way to do this, you've got to set some rules and some boundaries to keep your sanity. So you as a superwoman can fly at the right time.
Manage your cape.
Manage your cape.
Right.
All right, we got to go. Hit it, Fred. Hit it, Fred. Hit it, Fred. Bye.